So welcome to this week's Club Zone. This week we're going to be exploring whether it's possible to open up your club changing facilities. Now this has become a hot topic for club committees up and down the land and on social media as well. So we plan to give you our view on what is possible. However, as ever, it is each club's responsibility to decide the right way forwards for your club. Now to help me explore this one, I'm very happy to be joined by Joff McGill, the RYA Sailability Manager. Welcome along, Joff.
Thanks for having me, Gareth. Always good to see you.
Likewise. We've done a few of these now. Let's do another. So now the nights are drawing in. The water temperature is starting to get a little bit cooler, certainly up here in the Midlands. So while some boaters are still able to get changed at home or in the boat park or the car park, it's not going to be as easy as that going forwards. What do you think?
Yeah, that's right. Even down here on the south coast where I am, you can just begin to feel things are changing. That air temperature is getting colder. It can be not pleasant, and it's not safe. The nature of our sport is that people get wet, don't they? You may end up in the water for a time, and it can get really cold. So we also know that more boaters and more clubs are looking to keep the season going through the winter, which is a great thing. So whatever we do around changing rooms, it has to take account of both all the government guidance that's out there, but also, of course, safety and safeguarding.
Now, I know this isn't an easy one. You and I have spent a long time looking at government guidance since lockdown began, but I'm gonna ask you, what does the government guidance say on this topic?
Well, there are a number of pieces of guidance out there, Gareth, as you well know, and that's because there are lots of different types of sports. There are indoor sports, there are outdoor sports, all the leisure facilities that are trying to stay open at the moment. So it can get a little confusing, but if you read across all of the references to changing rooms, I think there are some consistent elements. And those consistent elements are that changing rooms are an increased area of risk of transmission. So we have to bear that in mind at all times. So we should be encouraging participants to arrive in changed and ready to sail, and wherever possible to travel home and change and shower at home. But also it's very clear from all of the guidance that use of changing rooms and showering facilities is okay where it's essential and where it's important, for example, for disabled people. So in general, it should be avoided where possible, but it's okay where their use is essential.
Okay, agreed. I think we're both on the same page there. So essential use of changing rooms is permitted, but what does this actually mean in our environment, in the environment of a sailing, windsurfing, boating club?
So I think it means making available changing facilities for disabled people. It's really important that our sport remains accessible, and from a safeguarding perspective, it's really important that those changing facilities are available there. But also for participants who are cold, as we said, it is a sport where we can get wet. And actually, it can be really important that you warm up in the right way as soon as possible, so you don't stay cold and don't cause further problems. And there are people who need immediate assistance for a whole host of reasons. Someone might have taken a bit of a bang on the head, all sorts of reasons. A child who's a bit upset because of their experience on the water. So actually, it is okay where it's essential to use the changing rooms in those circumstances.
Okay, that sounds sensible and practical. So use them when you need to. And of course, if you haven't used your changing facilities, your showers for a while, please check that the water supply is safe. And there's some really useful guidance on this topic from the RYA on our website on Legionella's COVID and water supply. And the link to that resource will be available below this video in the comments section. Now, Joff, the government guidance highlights the point that changing facilities could be an area of increased transmission, and that's understandable. So obviously we need to be mindful of this. What's your view, what's our view on how clubs can make the changing room environment as safe as possible?
Yeah, I think it's very similar to lots of other areas that we're used to making as safe as possible. It's having that clear guidance in place for people so they know how to use it, they know what to do, what not to do. It's having that guidance in place for what the cleaning schedule is and how often it gets cleaned, and that's an enhanced cleaning procedures. We need to keep them clear of lots of personal items. You and I have both been in changing rooms over the years where there's some kit from 20 years ago sitting in the corner, and that's not going to be a good environment for keeping it clean and sanitized. And then making sure that social distancing is achieved as much as possible in there. And that might be limiting numbers, limiting time that people get to spend in there, signage systems on the door to indicate how many people are in there, specific times when people can and can't use it, that kind of stuff. And of course, then all making the cleaning materials available so people can wipe down touch points, hand sanitizer so they can keep washing their hands regularly, all of that kind of stuff that we're so used to doing now.
Okay, good. So it is currently possible to open your changing rooms for essential use only. Use them if required, but if you can cope without them, please do so. The other important thing, please remember when you're looking at reopening changing facilities, or indeed opening any type of changing facilities or restarting activity, please follow the recommended process for managing COVID at your sailing club. That is, check what's possible, identify the risks and controls, update your policies and procedures. Really importantly, communicate through a range of channels to your members, your visitors, your customers. And of course, review. You need to keep checking in and making sure that any changes are working and you're comfortable with them. Okay, so that's all for us on this one. Do like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, please email sport.development@rya.org.uk. Many thanks.